It's Sunday the 18th of October. I've just come down the allotment in the afternoon. I've got a few little jobs to do today and I thought I'd come and check on it. Haven't been down for a week or so. So jobs today, I think the courgette plants are probably done now. I was just having a look over them and there's a few courgettes on them, but they're sort of quite yellow and stuff. They're not really growing. So I think we've probably had our run with those. So I'm going to pull them up, and I have got some onions to go in. So I've got these red onions to go in. I've got 75 of them, so we'll see how much room they take up. So I'm going to put those, I'm going to start off in these two beds and see how much room they take up. Other stuff to do, I was just checking on the chard. Chard's looking really nice in this bed. Love the colours of these chard, they look really cool in there. So we've got that bed. This bed's still not doing a lot, so we'll forget about that one. These two beds are doing well. Some nice chard in this one, and this one as well. What else have we got? Got the chard in there. It's not, still slowly. I think that went in a little bit too late, that bed. Potatoes we planted in there, probably up next year. In this bed, the kale we planted has started showing its head, so it's very, 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 very small, but you can see it there. Look, better focus. There you go. So I can see a few bits here and there coming up. So that's cool. Hopefully we'll have some bits of kale to harvest soon, some small bits. We've got lots of squash. So the plants are all dying back now. We've got lots of these lovely squash. So I'm going to harvest a few of those and leave a few to ripen a bit more. I don't want any of them to sort of get killed off by the frosts or anything when they come. So I'm going to harvest a few and leave a few, and we'll see how we go. The other thing we've got is some beans. There's a few little beans, so I'm going to pick some more of them. I'll weed this bed a little bit. I don't know how much longer these will keep going. I guess until there's a big frost. They seem to be doing quite well. That's the third lot we've had off of that. So yes, I'm pleased with that. Some nice squash down here. Look at these. Yeah, so I'll find the most yellow two. They do look quite good. They're nice and hard. There's quite a few around. They're sort of quite hidden. It's hard to see where they are. There's another couple over here that look quite good. Yeah, so I'll pick the best of those. Let's see with those. So I'm going to start with the courgettes. I'll get them out, harvest if there's any I can find on there. I'll harvest them, weed those beds a bit, and get those onions in. I'm going to look for some. I'll harvest the beans, and I'll look for a couple of squash to harvest. Yeah, that's about it. I'll do a bit of weeding. There's really not much weeding to do, which is great. It's a bit, once all these are out, I'll sort these paths out a bit. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to put see if I can get some cheap paving slabs, or put some plastic down and get some gravel, just fill the paths in. I want something so it's not going to be muddy come the sort of spring, or through the winter and spring. So yeah, so I'll have a good look, see what I can find what's cheapest. Yeah, so that's how it's looking. Let's do some jobs. I've harvested some beans, so it's another good handful. I'll go for another nice meal. There's still lots of smaller little tiny beans on here, so I'm going to leave them on. And there's a load there, look. So I'm going to leave them on in the hopes that they might grow. You never know. They've got, might have another few weeks of reasonable temperature. So yeah, so I'm going to leave them on and we'll see if they grow. But that's the third sort of handful of beans we've had of these plants. I think there was about 14 plants in these beds, and they're sort of dwarf beans, so they're only supposed to get this sort of bushy height. So they've done quite well. Definitely need to plant more next year. I've got more seeds for these, and I've got 2 other sorts of beans, I think, and 3 other sorts. I've got broad beans as well, and a couple of other types of seed. So yeah, so definitely want to plant more beans next year. I've harvested what courgettes I could find on there. So there's some nice size ones actually, but you can see they're definitely brighter yellow than the ones we have been picking. This one's quite good. But yeah, I think they definitely haven't had enough sort of light to ripen. I think these ones will be okay to eat, but that's probably about it coming off them plants. I think they've been growing for a good few weeks. So yeah, so I'll pull the plants up. That's probably enough courgettes for this year. We've probably eaten our weight in courgette this year. So yeah, we'll get these plants pulled up and we can use the bed for something else now. I've picked a couple of squash, so there's a pretty big squash, bigger than the ones you get from the supermarket anyway. They look pretty good. There's a little bit of green still on them, but I'll have a look into how you sort of ripen them off. I think some people leave them sort of in a windowsill or something, so I do that. There's probably another 5 or 6 I think that are sort of equal size, so I'm going to leave them for a couple of weeks, see how they get on. Yeah, so at least we've got some off. We'll see how they go, see what they're like. I've cleared out the 2 front beds, so finally no more courgettes this year, and I've just weeded them. So that made quite a big difference to the look of the allotment. Yeah, so they weren't too weedy, to be honest. They were pretty easy to clean up. The plants took up most of the space, so there wasn't much room for weeds. So next job is to get some of these onions in. I've just used a bit of wood just to mark out where I'm going to put these lines. Hopefully you can see those. So the rows need to be 22 centimetres apart. So I've guessed that's about right, and 10 centimetres apart on each row. So I've just made these lines so I know where I'm going, and I'll go along and pop them in, and then I'll do the same on the other bed. So I've laid them out on the top just to see how many I could fit in. I've got 4 a row. I've got 20 in the bed altogether, and another 20 in this bed. So it leaves me enough in the pack for another bed at least. So I'll see where else I can fit them. Just leaves me to poke them in. They need to be between 2 and 5 centimetres deep. So I'll just give them a little push in the soil, and then that job will be done. So they're all in now. I'll find another bed. I've got space for another bed up the back there, so I might build another bed there and put some more onions in. Either that, or I might replace these charred and put them in there. But yeah, at least we've got some in. We can keep putting them in for another couple of months. So we've got till November to put them in, so plenty of time anyway. Might be good to put some in a bit later, see how they do. Yeah, so I'm going to have a little weed now and have a look around, just weed a few bits. So that's all the jobs done for today. I just picked a few bits of chard. We've been quite enjoying those and adding them to meals. So we've got quite a little harvest today. I've finished cleaning up some of the beds. I've just done some weeding in some of these chard beds, and the beans and the potatoes. Just had a pick over those. Yeah, so a good day's work. Hopefully those squash will continue to ripen. We'll have those in the next couple of weeks. We can clear up all these big squash trails all over the place. The sweet corn's all done now, but I was just leaving that in while the squash plants are growing in there. I didn't want to pull them up, but we can get that all cleared up. Yeah, it's all looking good. Hope you enjoyed having a look around the allotment again today, and lots going on still. Yeah, and I'll see you again soon.